Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We are continuing our journey through all the tiers in World of Tanks. The journey that we all take when we play this game. We've reached tier 4. What happens when you get to tier 4? Doesn't take you very long to get to tier 4, but when you have to try and decide what to play in tier 4 is when probably the first time you look at the tech tree. And you realize, oh my god, there's hundreds of choices. There's too many choices. Tier 1, 2, and 3 were easy. They just took a couple of days. And now you're at tier 4 and you've started perusing through the tech trees and there's hundreds and hundreds of choices. So like this player, you probably choose some German tanks. German heavy tanks. Because you figure, well, those are probably the most powerful. You know nothing about the game, so that's usually the line that you go down when you start the game. It won't be till 3 or 4 years later that you realize that that was a big mistake. But when you're at tier 4, and you figure out I made myself laugh, sorry. Because that's what happened to me, okay? That's why I'm laughing, because I started the game. And I got to tier 4 and I thought, oh, boy, what do I do now? Look at all these tanks. That was like 10 years ago when there weren't as many. And the Russian ones, I said, I don't want to play the Russian ones. I don't want to play those. What the British ones? They look stupid. So the German ones, obviously. Because I watched that movie, right? Kelly's Heroes. I wanted a tiger. So I got this, the DW2. I didn't know that you had to shoot premium ammo every shot to make it work. This looks like a tank, see? This looks, to me, like a tank. And that's what this player chose. What's his name? Kamenalum from the Hiva clan. It's going down the German heavy line. In 4 years, when he gets to the E100, he'll think, what a freaking waste of time this was. If only he watched this series, or if only I did this series 6 years ago. To warn everyone, don't do that. Just go down the Russian lines. Guys, the energy level has dissipated a little bit from my brain's not even working. My energy level has dissipated or degraded a little bit from the first 3 videos in this series. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. I think so far the most entertaining video, I think it was Tier 2. Let me know in the comment section if you're following this series. We're doing it live, okay? We did Tier 1, 2, 3, and now we're at Tier 4. The journey through World of Tanks. That we have all experienced, probably. Some of you are probably new. Maybe you'll gain something with this. But most of you have probably already been playing for years and you're at Tier 10. And you may, a few of the things I say, you may go, ah, yeah, I remember that. How many of you, come on, hands up, how many of you when you started the game, you thought, I better get a German heavy tank? Because the Tiger obviously will be the most powerful tank in this game. How many of you thought that? I thought that. Like, who would want to get this? Look at that thing, the SAU 40. It looks like a turd with a turd on it. This little thing here, I can honestly say, is... if you know what you're doing, is sucks. You thought I was going to say okay, right? No, it isn't. It sucks. But I'm purposely showing you some decent games here, okay? Like this guy's in a Tier 4 game. He's 4, Tier 4. Now, in the Tier 3 game, or the Tier 3 video that we watched yesterday, we featured the Panzer 2J, which is the biggest money scam that Wargaming has perpetrated on the community since it started. In its whole career by making an overpowered Tier 3 tank available for hundreds of dollars. Check out the premium round on this tank now. The premium round on this tank is 70. Oh, let's look at here. The premium round on this tank has 130 penetration. So the Panzer 2J has something like 80 millimeters of armor all the way around, which when it came out, all the machine guns couldn't penetrate that. And you usually got Tier 3 games. that player that we watched yesterday, he's usually in this matchmaking. He's usually versus tanks like this, which will have no problem going through them. But I reminisce. We watched that yesterday. Aprala, which is German for why are you going down the German heavy line? Usually tier 4 takes a little longer. Like I mentioned earlier, at tier 1 you can get through in a day. Oh, wait. Snap him. By tier 4 you haven't completely learned how to control your mouse. And you have no idea about the game settings where you can decrease the sensitivity of the mouse so that you would have hit that shot. You have no idea that there's even settings in the game. Sometimes when you're playing, you moving your fat fingers around and you accidentally hit this key. And you're, whoa, what's going on? What, exit? No. What's this? Oh, settings. What? Oh, and you don't even know those are there. Until about tier 4. So tier 1 takes you a day. Tier 2, you could play for 4 or 5 hours. And then you get to tier 3. Tier 3 is usually when you start enjoying your tank and you play it for a little while. Tier 4 is when you got to make the big decision. Okay, where do I go from here? You know, where do we go from here? And you have to choose what line you're going to go down. Because up to tier 3, you can kind of... It's no big deal changing your mind at tier 2 or tier 3. It's easy, right? It doesn't take very long. But once you get to tier 4, you have to invest a little bit of time. And for our brains now, for the way society's gone these days, if you have to invest more than like a few minutes, we have the attention spans of gnats. So investing days or sessions to get to the next one is, you know what? Now I have to research an engine and a gun? That's going to take like 4 games. People go, right? So when you get to tier 4, you're starting down the path. You've reached the fork in the road and you have to figure out, well, where am I headed? Where do I want to go? I better make sure I go down the right lines, because if I start heading down this path and I don't like it, I get to 4, 5, 6, I go, what? I gotta go back and start. No one wants to go back and start. So tier 4 is very important for you to decide what path to go on. The first big decision is what type of tank would you like? And of course you have no clue, because at tier 1, 2, and 3, the difference between light tank, medium tank, heavy tank, and SPG and TD doesn't exist. They all suck. You have no idea. So what do? You guess based on your preconceived expectations. And most people expect the German lines to be good. And that's what this player's doing. He's played the DW2, but he aced it. And we showed you the one good game out of 436 that he's played in this tank. Well, he finished on top. And he did 2,168 damage, which is his damage record. And he actually eked out a little bit of a profit here because he made 70,000 for rewards. Also in tier 4, you start to learn a little bit about seal clubbing, because you do get matchmaking where you get to play the tier 3s. And I have to say that there is a very large selection of very amazing tanks at tier 4. Tier for tier. There's some tanks in tier 4 that are just spectacular, that outclass everyone. And I wish I could feature all of them in this video. Honorable mention to some of them. And that would be the Lux is a fantastic tier 4 tank that you can have a lot of fun with. There's the Matilda, which is a fantastic tier 4 tank that you can have a lot of fun with. Heavily armored for its tier and rapidly shooting gun. The Lux with the boom, 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 right? With the mobility. And then there's, for tier 4, Hetzer is just an amazing little guy, right? And this one, the M8A1, which I found early in my career and had a blast with. And let me just change something here, because it's always better. Oh, that is it. Okay, it's the right commander voice. Okay, let's back to that. There's this one, the M8A1, and then there's the Chinese version of this one, which are both hilarious, okay? And at tier 4, you start to learn that, hey, some tanks are fast and some tanks aren't. This player has learned. I think the Chinese one is more fun. Maybe I should show one more game here of the Chinese one. Chinese equivalent of this one. Oh, he missed. By tier 4, you have not learned how to lead your shots properly yet. Also, this player's reached tier 4, but he went down the German heavy line up till now, and he's used to slow tanks. And now he's got one of the fastest tanks in the game. But he doesn't drive around. He sits still. There it is. The M3 Stuart. The tier 3 equivalent. Who's dead? And here's another one. Look at this. Boop. Do you think the guy's backed up? What? Shoot him again. So he has equipped his tank with a camo net and binocs, which seems to be what everyone in tier 4 does. Because they learn. Wargaming has forced them. Because every time they press the W key and drive around, they die. Like this guy, see? If you press the W key and you drive around, you tend to die in this game. Especially when you have no idea what you're doing. So you do that for about the first 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And then you start looking around in the garage things to buy, and you go, oh, camo net. Camo net increases my concealment, so they won't be able to see me. Oh, binocs. I'll be able to see really far. So all I need to do is get a camo net and binocs, and I need to sit really still at the back. Then you get yourself a tank that can go 80 kilometers an hour, and you park in a bush all game. Because let's face it, at tier 4, you don't know the maps. You don't know where to go. You don't know the difference between a choke point and a observation area. You don't know what line of the map you should proceed to move to the other side. You don't know what's safe and what's not safe. So this is what you do. You stay very still, and you just shoot. And this is the game for you at tier 4. Until you get some experience. And when you get some experience, then you have to get those tanks that I mentioned that are just extremely fun. Now, there's also now an American tank that's really fun. The one with the derp gun. The one that's the Sherman tier 4 with the derp gun. So the Sherman with the derp gun, the Hetzer, the Matilda, the Lukes. Can you guys name some other amazing tier 4s? Because there's so many lines, and not everyone has gone down all the lines. Some people get stuck in one line, and they concentrate on one line, which is not a bad idea, right? But leave some comments in the comment section for some people that are watching that are, let them know what your favorite tier 4 is. And I'm going to make another comment about a big mistake that a lot of players that start this game do. They start this game and they easily do tier 1, 2, and 3, and then they realize, oh my god, there's a whole bunch of lines. They look at the tech trees, and they say, oh, I like these 11 different tanks. I want to get these 11 tanks. And they start going down 11 different lines. Right? He's figured out that someone's behind him. He's going backwards. He likes to drive back. He's got the fastest tank in the game, and he's in reverse. He hasn't gone forward yet in the game, except for the first 10 seconds. So some people, they say, okay, I want these 11 different tanks, and they start going down 11 grinds. Like, I mean, they aim for 11 different tier 10 tanks, or tier 9 tanks. And they start going down 11 different grinds, and their idea is, well, I'll play a game. I usually die in 2 minutes. So after I die, I can get into the next game with the next grind that I'm doing, and I'll die in 48 seconds. And then when I get back to my garage, one tank will be in battle, I'll be dead, and I'll play another one. And that they juggle like 10 or 11. And they do the grinds. And that's the perfect recipe to suck at the game forever. Because it is. That's just the way it is. So what you have to do is you don't do that. You have to decide on 1 or 2 grinds. And then you have to focus on those grinds. And try not to die in the first minute. I mean, you can't help it if you suck. But you have to just concentrate on a couple of grinds. 1 or 2. And by doing that, you end up not playing like this guy who's driving in the open. You end up getting a better crew, more experience in the 1 or 2 grinds that you're doing. that you focus on. You get more experience playing the same tank, so you get used to how a tanks work, how that particular tank works. You get used to the shell velocity on that one tank. Instead of constantly, you're playing 11 different ones, they have 11 different shell velocities, and you're not being able to keep up with the changes, and you're confused. You play one tank and you think it's going to handle like the other one, but it doesn't. Then you play a fast tank, and then you play a slow tank, and you never get in a rhythm. And it's a recipe for sucking if that's how you begin your career in World of Tanks. This particular player has the strategy of Binox and Camonet come hell or high water. That's what he's going to do. He's got the fastest tank in the game, but he'll only drive it backwards. The rest of the time, he's motionless, okay? And this strategy works for him. He's chosen the fastest tank in the game, and he's going to sit stationary in a bush no matter what. If he gets Himmeldorf, he just like X's out. So here he is. 7 kills, and it's him versus 3. He's got the Binox. Even with the Binox, guys, look at his view range. This guy does not have Super Crew in his tank yet, okay? He's just grinding. Look, he's got Binox and Camonet, but look at his green circle. That's his view range. That's with a 25% boost to view range, okay? Oh, and he doesn't notice that there's a guy behind him, behind his base. Oh, there he is. He noticed like 7 seconds later. This PZ3 is waiting for his Camonet to engage. Look at this, he's just waiting. Boop. The PZ3, the light bulb came on his screen, he went, and he sat still. So, if you get to tier 4, and for the first time you notice a light bulb on your screen, when that light bulb appears, don't stop and sit still. That's when the light bulb appears, run for cover. Imagine that guy. Imagine if we were watching the game from that other guy's perspective. He's driving along the light bulb. Oh, light bulb. I think I'll be safe in this bush. And he probably thought he was safe because it took this guy 5 seconds, 6 seconds to aim at him. Okay. Can he do it, guys? Can he end the tier 4 video in style? He's got 8 kills. This is the most kills he's ever gotten. Most people never achieve 8 kills until they've played this game for 7, 8 years. This guy's only been playing the game for a month and a half. He's got 8 kills. He's thinking this Camonet and Binox really works. And he's going to equip every tank he has with Camonet and Binox. Now, when I started the game, you could just move the Camonet and Binox from tank to tank to tank to tank as you were going to play it for free. Wargaming realized what a mistake that was. Snap! So now they charge us to move our equipment. They said, what? Players are moving equipment around for free? We want them to buy more equipment. Those cheap bastards. So now it costs you gold to move your equipment around. Or, if you're lucky, you can win a demount kit. So, you have to buy the equipment for... Oh, here he goes. Now, as he's moving forward, he's going to stop. He's aiming. Boom. They're knocked out. He traveled a total of 0 kilometers and sets a personal record for damage at tier 4. It's UA Bagration, who finished it on top with almost 3,000 damage, 10 kills, and he made some credits. There you go. Some fantastic features for tier 4. But I'm serious, there's a lot of really fun tier 4 tanks that you can get, like the ones I listed. And if you do get those, especially something like the Matilda or the Hetzer, the Lux takes a little bit more skill to play because you can die very quickly because it's fast and very soft. But something like the Matilda or the Hetzer, Hetzer you wait in a bush with the big derp gun, and Matilda you've got armor. Concentrate on those tanks for a little while. Play them for a little while. Don't be ready to jump to the next one. Play a couple, 300-400 games. It might take you a month. But you'll be rewarded because your crew will get better. You'll get good equipment in that tank. You'll learn how to play it. You'll learn where to go on the different maps. And you can dominate on the battlefield. And maybe one day you can get 10 kills like this guy did. All right, guys, leave some comments. We're going to move to Tier 5 tomorrow. So I'll catch you tomorrow for for the next one.